Namaste. Welcome to this series on foundational concepts of Sanatana Dharma. In this session, we are going to look at Ashtanga Yoga. What is yoga? In the Yoga Sutra, Maharishi Patanjali defines yoga as yoga's chitta vritti nirodha, or the cessation, stopping, or regulation of all mental activity. If you just close your eyes and just sit down, you would notice that there is so much that is going on in the mind. It's so difficult to sit in one place for a long period of time because there's so much mental activity going on. We're either thinking, we are learning something, we are imagining something, or we have so many prejudices, or otherwise we are sleeping. Even that is a mental activity. Your brain is still active, your mind is still active at that time. So when all these mental activities, these ripples, they come to a regulated manner or come to a halt, that is the process or that is the state called yoga. Yoga is also samadhi, which is a very, very deep state, difficult to express in words. Maharishi Patanjali also talks about Ashtanga Yoga or the 8 limbs or dimensions of yoga. They include yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana and samadhi. Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana and samadhi. So yama and niyama include certain disciplines and certain mental approaches that we have to take before setting out on the path of the asana and pranayama and other routines. Because that value system is very important, which the yama and niyama we'll look at in a later session. The asana include a set of physical postures that we popularly practice. However, Maharishi Patanjali says, whatever is a very comfortable and stable position, that is called asana. Sthira sukha iti asana. So it means that it's sthira, it is stable, and sukha, it is comfortable. So that is asana. So any posture that helps you to achieve a certain level of stability, that is asana. Pranayama is basically regulation of the breath. In a normal course of, in the normal day-to-day affairs, we breathe in different ways. If we are highly focused on something with involvement, we do see that we forget to breathe or we take very few breaths. But after that we realize and then take a full breath just to compensate for that. Or if a mind is agitated, we would see that we breathe very rapidly, like that. So our breath is quite irregular that way, quite unpredictable that way. So in order to regulate the breath and have a deeper experiences, we use pranayama. There are different components of pranayama, which we will look at in a later series. Pratyahara is basically to do with the withdrawal of the senses. What happens is the mind is focusing on the senses or moving the senses, and the senses are always outwardly focused, right? Our mind is always wanting to see what is around, always wanting to hear what is happening, always wanting to, there is some taste or the other going on in the mouth. But then when the mind gets inward focused, becomes withdrawn, the senses too get withdrawn along with the mind. And we get a nice inner experience without the distractions of the outer environment. That is called pratyahara. And dharana is basically to hold something in the mind. Suppose we fixate our gaze or the mind on a particular object. It could be the image of a guru or ishtadevata or a point in space on the wall or something. If we are able to focus on it, that is called dharana. And the dhyana is basically a continuous flow of awareness. So you have dharana and dhyana. Dhyana is that meditative state. And samadhi is a very deep state where you could be aware of things that are around you or you need not be aware of things around you. So there are different kinds of samadhi that the Yoga Sutra talk about. But nevertheless, it goes beyond the dharana and dhyana, where sometimes you may not even have an identity specific to you in the state of samadhi. So we have looked at the 8 dimensions of yoga in terms of yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, and samadhi. Dharana, dhyana, and samadhi, these three together include the process called samyama, which is a very, very deep state or deep way of contemplating on something such that we come in unison with whatever we are meditating upon. There is so much that we can talk about this, but maybe in a later series. Namaste.